This episode contains a graphic description of suicide. Listen at your own discretion. It is Tuesday, the 22nd of October, 2024. My name is Pigeon Rose, and this is my song of the day. We're continuing on talking about the Broken Bride EP. Where we last left off, our narrator had accidentally ended up back in time in the dinosaur past when he was trying to go back to 1989 to save his wife from a car crash. This song takes us away from that action. It's the only song on the EP that isn't numbered because it is the only one not narrated by the narrator of the rest of the story. And the song is called Save Our City. And it's from the perspective of a few different people, mostly a kid and a mayor in the far future, in the apocalypse, basically. I don't think I need to tell you any more than that. We're just going to listen to it now and then come back in a few minutes and talk about it. And there's Save Our City. Now, when I first got into Ludo, I remember not really looking into the story of this EP. And the reason why I went back and listened to it was because Save Our City came on in a shuffle I had, and I fucking loved it. And this really stands out to me. I think the final track in the EP is my favorite just because of everything that happens with it, and we'll get there. But this is definitely it's such a good fucking song, even just outside of the EP, especially because it's not part of the numbered parts. It's just a really good song. It's such a rockin', big raucous song, and tells a story as well. It's just really good. I get the chorus in my head a lot, and the bridge as well. We'll get there. But yeah, so the story goes away from the narrator who's stuck in the dinosaur past to talk about the far future, the apocalypse, or more specifically, the rapture. Again, the biblical imagery shows up a lot in this song as it does throughout the EP. And there's a zombie uprising happening, and there's a dragon that's alluded to, a red dragon, which is how Satan appeared in the book of Revelation. So this is implied to be Satan of some description. And the song starts with a young boy pleading with the mayor to save the city. So he says, "Mr. Mayor, the mission burns. The zombies are marching. They close on the square. Families are cold. Look down at their souls. Huddled in camps on the old marble steps of City Hall. Faith in their God is all that they've got." So starting off with the Mr. Mayor immediately puts you in some sort of idea of what's happening here. But also, I just love that that is going on throughout the song. I feel like in an older song, it would be pianos boom, boom, boom. It's really scare chords, almost like Psycho, the strings, doing the it just has that specific feel to it that's really discordant and just immediately puts you on edge. Because the first song is a pretty catchy rock song, and then this one's just listen, we're telling a fucking apocalyptic story here. And so the mission burns, the zombies are marching. So immediately we know we're in a zombie apocalypse of some description. They close on the square. Families are cold, look down at their souls. So you've got these people who don't know what to do. There's zombies everywhere. They're all huddled in camps on the old marble steps of City Hall, and all they have is their faith in their God. And then you get across the room beyond the pane. The whole world is churning, bleeding and burning, hailstorms and ash. The moon is as blood over the soldiers who sag in the mud. So just describing how the world is ending, the world is churning, bleeding and burning, hailstorms and ash. It's just very typical apocalyptic, it's raining fire and all that sort of stuff. Save our city, keep our souls, Lord, through the rapture of this world. So this is when it immediately brings in specifically, keep our souls, Lord. It's very, now I lay me down to sleep, pray the Lord my soul to keep, and then through the rapture of this world. So using the word rapture is very specifically referring to the apocalypse depicted in the book of Revelation, which is that with the second coming of Christ, believers in Christ will be raised up to heaven, and the non-believers will be left behind in a apocalyptic situation, basically. The second verse then is the mayor replying, "Little boy, I'm just a man, a mere civil servant against this tyrant God. I've allied with our king, salvation he brings, protecting the city against all the troops heaven sent, but the dead walk again. This is the end." So, he is I'm just a man. I can't do anything about this. A mere civil servant against this tyrant God. So all the people here are praying to God, and the mayor is rejecting God. He says, God is not helping us. He is a tyrant. I have allied with our king, salvation he brings. So who's the king they're talking about here? And this comes up. It is implied that the king they're talking about is the dragon, the Satan figure that I mentioned. So salvation he brings, protecting the city against all the troops heaven sent, but the dead walk again. This is the end. So he's kind of given up, you know. He's acknowledging this is the end. Oh, I'm just a man. My time has come. Long live King Simius. That's the king he's talking about. May he deliver us from this nightmare. And with a blast like the sun, his lips are enwrapped from the barrel of his gun. So he basically says to the little boy, your God has forsaken us all. There are zombies marching. King Simius will save us. And then he puts his gun in his mouth and shoots himself. So that's fun. When I first actually understood the lyrics here when I was listening properly, just that his lips are unwrapped from the barrel of his gun is such a wild way to phrase that. Such an interesting lyric. And then we get the save our city, keep our souls, Lord, the rapture of this world. And then we get this big rocking instrumental. And then the bridge is a whole choir of people, which is implied to be the zombies themselves speaking. Fought and fell for our great king, we burned alive and boiled. The dragon red and wrathful calls, we rise and march once more. Cursed in death, we starve for flesh, our skin is cooked and curled. We'll eat our kin and smash them in hell we'll grind their bones. So just this kind of rallying thing of all these zombies being like, you know, we live, we die, we live again. King Simius, the dragon, is leading us to eat our kin and smash them in hell we'll grind their bones, right? It's pretty typical sort of zombie stuff, I guess, although they usually don't speak. And then we get the chorus, which is itself kind of a bridge. So it starts off with the save our city, keep our souls, Lord, through the rapture of this world. And then as that repeats, the choral zombie chants come in again, layering over it. And then layering over that again is the kid talking again. The mayor's ruined head, the boy steps through the window and cries out from the ledge to the people below. There's a time to pray and there's a time to fight. Anything can be a weapon if you're holding it right. Defend what is yours, they will not take our souls. It's time now to rise and fight. This is the part I love the most about this song, because then it immediately goes into save our city, keep our souls, Lord, rise now and fight. So it turns this whole thing around, you know, they're still keeping their faith in God, but they're saying that there's no point in just sitting here and praying. We have to actually fight back, right? And I just love how it turns around, because it starts off like pretty quiet of, mayor's ruined head, the boy steps through the window, but then it builds up with, there's a time to pray, and there's a time to fight. Anything can be a weapon if you're holding it right. That line I love so much. Anything can be a weapon if you're holding it right. It's so good. It's so visceral, you know. It's just like, it doesn't matter what you have. Grab anything and use it. Defend what is yours. They will not take our souls. It's time now to rise and fight. And then the way it stops and then goes, save our city. Oh, I love it so much. It really gets you hyped up. How many times can I say that in 370 days? And then we get this extended outro where there's a choir going like, oh. I just sang that like it was from Halo. And that melody comes up a few times in later songs. We'll talk about it again, but I think this is the first appearance of it here. And then as that repeats, you hear a bell going, ding, and the bell keeps ringing until the end of the song. And that, I mean, it just has that doom apocalyptic vibe of hearing a bell ringing, you know. Ask not for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. But what's the specific, hear it not Duncan, for it is a knell that brings thee into heaven or to hell. I think that's the Macbeth line, something like that. Anyway, yeah, so this song really, like, you know, the first song is good, but this song like grabs you. It's like, no, this is musical theater, my friend. It's also the only song on the EP that got a music video, by the way. I'll link that below, of course. But yeah, I just really love this song as its own thing and also as part of the story, showing us the apocalypse, which will become relevant later on in the EP, of course. And it sets up so much world building stuff, like apart from just being the rapture, also King Simius and all that. Like, it's really interesting how much it crams. I mean, it's a long song, to be fair, longer than the previous anyway. I think that's going to do it for today. Thank you so much for listening. We'll continue with part 2. Tonight's the night, tomorrow. Please hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Tell other people about this show. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
Break it down.
The non-believers will be left behind in a apocalyptic situation, basically. You know, like that movie, Left Behind. Oh, God. Anyway.